Melton, and I want the audience to understand how to make a simple yet tasty pound cake. In this speech, I will share the ingredients, explain why you use them, bake and serve a pound cake. Have you ever tasted a freshly baked pound cake and later wanted more only to find that it was all gone? Well, this scenario of no cake has happened to me before, so I decided to learn how to make my own cake. And today I'm going to show you that there are 8 simple ingredients in this pound cake to bake at a preheated 350-degree oven. The ingredients, I've taken the liberty to go ahead and separate them for you. The ingredients are 2 cups flour, 2 cups sugar, 1/4 tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, they're all in here, 1 cup of butter softened, maybe 5 eggs, you're supposed to add them one at a time as you mix them. As I do this, I'm going to explain to you why we use these ingredients. Let me do this one at a time first. Okay, you do this until they're smooth, and then you pour it into a well-greased pan. I'm going to explain why you use these ingredients for this recipe. The recipe calls for all-purpose flour, but there are 2 kinds of flour. One flour is hard and one is soft, which is determined by the amount of protein in the flour. The protein is gluten. The higher the gluten content, the harder the flour. Now, why is the gluten important? Because the gluten causes the flour to rise. It also is the protein that traps the air within the flour, and it can cause the end product to be tougher and chewier. Now, this brings us to leaveners. Leaveners are, leaveners, there are chemical and mechanical leaveners. Chemical issue carbon dioxide when around the liquid, two of which are being baking soda and baking powder. We've used those in our ingredients today. Now, the mechanical leaveners help the product to rise. Mechanical are manually. Now, the mechanical is manually, excuse me. One of those is a beaten egg. The air beaten through the egg causes the end product to rise. Now let's talk about the flavor of our pound cake. Vanilla and almond is what we use. They add their own flavor. Vanilla is the most popular because it adds flavor along with aroma. Now, vanilla may be the most popular, but almond helps because it can be added to anything. It can be added to your fruits. It can be added to your baking. And it adds a simple flavor, not as strong and overpowering as vanilla, but it does add flavor. You don't want that in there. Okay. As that adds together, as that mixes together, we're going to go ahead and talk about the last section, which is the forbidden section. The fat, sugar, and the fat, sugar are the most, fat, sugar, and salt. They're important because you think about any baked good, you have to have sugar. How can you have dessert without sugar? It adds sweetness, and again, how can you have dessert without sugar? It also helps the pound cake to be springy and not fall. Now, why is salt needed? Because salt is a necessity to your body, why wouldn't it be a necessity to your baked good? It helps the cake, again, not to fall, to rise properly, and it cuts the sweetness that's inside it. The butter does the same thing. It helps the cake to rise, and it keeps it moist. Now, in conclusion, after I combine all of these ingredients, as I have here, and I pour them into the grease bump pan, which I've already done here, might be making a mess, but it's going to taste good, and that's all that matters. Okay. You pop it in the oven for 60 minutes, or until the toothpick comes out clean. Once you do that, you take a wire rack, you place the pound cake on the wire rack, cake side up, for 10 minutes, which is called the resting time. And then you flip it over, and it should slide right out. Now, I have taken the liberty of baking one prior to this. This is that cake. Now, the pound cake can be garnished by powdered sugar or by strawberries or any other kind of fruit. Here I have not done either of these. You can do it with both or with nothing like I have. And then you cut and serve.